If you haven't seen part 1 of this project, here's a little brief overview of the construction process. To summarize, a little foam core, some wooden sticks, XPS foam insulation, LEDs, hot glue, and then, bada bing, bada bang, a garage, or a fire station, or maybe a small factory. In any event, I'm going to finish it today, so buckle up, it may be a bumpy ride. Spoiler alert, it's not going to be a bumpy ride at all. This build was time-consuming, but it went very smoothly. I'm very happy with the result, and I hope you'll like it too. So, let's get started. There are other products that I could have used to recreate the stucco, but joint compound is already mixed up and ready to use. Plus, it's water-based, so I could do a little sanding if I want to, but a damp rag will smooth it out also. Plus, with that method, there's no dust from sanding. The shingles are made from mat board, and the stone blocks from XPS foam insulation, neither of which is a very durable product on its own, so the entire building was given a coat of Mod Podge before I painted it all with flat black acrylic craft paint. With the flat black as the base, now it's time to add color. Except for the Mod Podge, every single color that I'm using is cheap craft paint from Walmart. 58 cents a bottle. And they stretch pretty far, but I do go through a lot of flat black. It's a thick paint, but it has good coverage. I wouldn't use this craft paint on a Lionel train or plastic model, but it's great for this sort of project. This light gray is basically just hitting the highlights, or the areas that stick out more than others. If it fills in the black cracks, then there was too much paint on the brush. I want those cracks and the other recessed areas to remain dark. By the time I'm finished, most, but not all of this gray will be covered by tans, off-whites, or shades of brown. Well, most of the blocks, except for the ones on the front. Those are pretty much going to stay light gray, but with some highlights. around the windows and all of the timbers around the roof tiles are painted burnt umber, which is also the color I used to create the dark wash that has settled into the sawtooth edges of each shingle. Now I'm coming back with the base color to just hit the highlights. Instead of the dark brown burnt umber color, for the stonework, I'll apply a wash of a lighter shade known as melted chocolate. It goes on looking a little bit like diarrhea, but the majority gets removed with a damp towel, leaving just a lighter tone of brown. I shaped a piece of pine, hot glued it to the base, and then covered it in Mod Podge. I also sprinkled some fine sand onto the Mod Podge before it dried. Now, I'll have some good texture to bring out later after I apply a little more gray and ivory paint. Here's the entrance that's now looking suitably old, but there are 3 window sections that still need to be made. And for that, I'll use styrene and sheet plastic. Some people might use balsa wood, while others could have access to a 3D printer. For me, at least for now, I'm more comfortable making my windows with plastic. This is a very thin, clear piece of polystyrene. The window frames have been painted dark green. The back of each frame has been sanded so that I can use the liquid solvent cement to attach the frame to the clear plastic. Attaching the side door is the last piece of the puzzle. I added the head of a sewing pin to use as a doorknob. I'm not 100% sure that I like this particular door, so I may make a different one later. But for now, I think this garage is finished. At one point, I wanted a pair of heavy wooden doors, swung wide in the open position, but then I realized how much of the front stonework would be hidden from view. So, in my imagination, there are sliding doors that come down from inside to close the shop up at night. I still need to think about these front doors, but I'm happy with the way this looks right now.